Cal State Los Angeles. I do have the pleasure, of course, of introducing the president of Cal State LA. But before I do that, just a few words to all of you. You know, I've been president here since 2013. When I began here as president, what you do all the time is you always ask, well, tell me about our transfer rates. Tell me, how are we doing as a college in terms of transferring students to our local universities, especially Cal State LA, how we're doing? Well, we were not the #1 feeder back in 2013. Actually, I think we were fourth or so. There was a number of other colleges above us, from Pasadena, City College, and others that were above us. Obviously, that was not acceptable to us at East LA College. So we began to work extensively with Dr. Covino and the administration and the campus community to change that. I'm happy to report to all of you that we're now the #1 feeder to Cal State LA. And that's happened because of all the hard work that the faculty, students, staff has done at East LA College in trying to get more students on a pathway to graduate. And that's also happened because we've had great collaborations with Cal State LA. And so what that has done, everyone, is we've been able to give more opportunities for young students, for all students actually, on this campus to achieve their dreams. They've had a chance to go to Cal State LA, they've had a chance to graduate, they've had a chance to do well. So obviously we want to keep that going. We want to make sure that we continue to be the #1 feeder. We want to continue to work with more students in this part of town, give them that opportunity so they can also achieve their dreams. That's not going to stop. We want to make sure we keep that going. So I'm excited what the future has and continues to be for East Los Angeles College. And again, so thank you for all of you who have partaken in this effort. And I think Kirby Dominguez, who is our transfer center coordinator, will be giving a presentation in a short while about some of these details as to how we have moved to becoming the #1 feeder to Cal State LA. So I have the great pleasure of introducing to all of you to the president of Cal State Los Angeles, so who is here to obviously talk about today's program and to introduce his staff. So President Covino, welcome to East Los Angeles College.
Woo.
Thank you. Good morning. It's so good to see you all here on one of the first or second or third sunny days we've had in a month, and to have you be part of this discussion. Martin and I have been working since I got to Cal State LA on the project that we call Go East LA to increase college going among the youth in the community, and we stood side by side and talked about the ways that we work together for students that want to go to East LA and move on to a career, for students that want to go to East LA and transfer to Cal State LA, for students that are interested in being freshmen at Cal State LA. And I think we have a great partnership with East LA College. It's really tremendous. We're here today to talk about an admissions plan that we think will actually help and strengthen our partnership with East LA College, both insofar as we work together to create great lower division students that go on to transfer to Cal State LA, and also just in analytic terms, a plan that will allow us to accept a higher proportion of transfer students than we're able to accept now. You'll see a lot of this in the slides, but our current admissions criteria have actually resulted in a 25% decrease in the transfer students that we admit to Cal State LA. We want to change that proportion and create admissions criteria and admissions process that creates greater access for transfer students, and also creates very welcoming access for first-year students who come to East LA College rather than going to Cal State LA.
That's not true.
Want to come here for 2 years and then transfer over. So we're trying to strengthen that pipeline, increase the proportion in the transfer population, and also make sure that those who are applying to Cal State LA have a strong alternative if they aren't admitted here at East LA College, which they always have and which we always appreciate. So thank you very much. We'll look forward to your comments and questions. Let me introduce our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Lynn Mahoney.
Thank you. President Martinez pretty much did my job, and my job at this point was to just acknowledge the tremendous work that the faculty and staff at ELAC have done for student success, and that enables their transfer to Cal State LA and their quick graduation. Our graduation rates for our transfer students are now up to 75%. Our goal is to increase that even more, but we've had great success with our transfer students because of the work of the people in this room, and it's a real pleasure to introduce one of the architects of the student success work here at ELAC. Kirby Dominguez is the transfer director and counselor here. I've had the privilege of knowing him for several years, and he is one of the most devoted student advocates and success people in the field. So it's a real pleasure to welcome Kirby, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what ELAC's been up to.
So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask our guest interpreter, who's going to do us a little favor of interpreting for our community members who, need the translation. So I will go and pace it slowly. So, buenos dias, good morning. My name is Kirby Dominguez. My Spanish means my un poco pocho, so I'm going to try my best. I do apologize. Les pido disculpas. So I'll try my best to go forward and go as slow as I can. I think one thing that's clear that our campus has been doing within the last several years is to increase the transfer culture. Within the last several years, one thing that's clear is that we've had large investments in our transfer programming, investments from our faculty members, from our leadership, top down, bottom up. And what's clear is that within our data sets, it shows and demonstrates that our students are hungry for transfer, our faculty are hungry for transfer, so is our leadership. In reference to support and partnerships, we've had strong partnerships. The strongest partnership we do have is actually with Cal State LA. President Martinez said it correctly about, out of the 1,500 or so students that transfer each year to public institutions, over 650 transfer to Cal State LA. So we're talking about 40% of our students elect to go to Cal State LA. So it's our #1 choice for many of our students, and with great reason. It's nearby, it's premier, and it was also recognized, I believe, in a recent article as one of these stepping stones for students to get to that, higher income, to get to the progressing into, I guess, to the promised land, as I would call it. I know I said it all.
So, lo que él estaba diciendo es que ahorita tenemos solamente un porcentaje de 40% de los estudiantes que normalmente están en sorry, I need you to go a little bit slower so I can just capture what you're saying.
Out of the 1,500 students, tenemos como 1,500 estudiantes que se van a transferir cada año a instituciones públicas. Y sobre el año pasado fueron como 650 estudiantes que se fueron a transferir a la institución de Cal State LA. So, representa como 40% de nuestros estudiantes que se van a transferir cada año. So, I guess.
You can just make it smaller and I can translate.
Yeah. I would say it's our #1 transfer universe.
Nuestro número, queremos ser, nuestra meta es ser los número 1 de transferir.
Yeah. Over the years, we've done some innovative events. We want to be as proactive with our students as we can. No longer just waiting for them to come to us, but we go to them. I think our student populations deserve that. They're in need of that, especially since we serve predominantly first-generation Latino students.
Nuestros eventos últimamente reflejan eso. Queremos ser el número 1 y queremos los eventos.
Yeah. Tenemos eventos que de verdad, we try to direct him. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Tenemos un evento mañana. El evento que tenemos mañana es para los padres. Son padres de los hijos que se van a transferir. Va a ser en este edificio mañana a las 9 hasta las 1. Si son padres aquí, andan visitando y tienen estudiantes que vienen a ELAC, los invitamos. Tenemos un programa que vamos a explicar todo lo que hemos hecho en este colegio y también para enseñarles talleres para financial aid, para ayuda financiera y información para transferirse. What I want to emphasize here is our growing transfer ADT rates. We were recognized recently by the Campaign for College Promise. Again, this is an organization that's recognized a set amount of community colleges for their increase in ADT awarded by community college. We were recognized for the 665 that we were awarded, but it doesn't account for the grant increase to 873, which doesn't account for our expected increase to probably get close to 1,000 for this coming year. So again, this is it's a great collaboration between all entities on campus, staff, faculty, counselors, admin, everything. This takes all hands on deck.
Recientemente estuvimos reconocidos por el College Campaign for Opportunities, es una organización del estado de California, por superar en dar más certificados. Associate of Science for Transfer es lo que se llaman. Son certificados para pasar a la universidad y hemos seguido subiendo para arriba.
I know the colors don't really show, but I wanted to demonstrate just the vast change from a 10-year, at least window. So if we look at our 2007, we were ranked 27th in the state for Cal State transfers with about 780. And for the UCs, we were ranked 28th in the state with 128.
Sé que los colores no reflejan lo que hicimos, pero estamos reconocidos el número 27 de estatal de los 780 transfers y también somos 28 en el estado de 128 transfers.
Lo que queremos identificar es que somos 114 colegios comunitarios en California. Así es que somos el número 27 para Cal State University y número 28 para UC System, los sistemas universitarios públicos en California. Esto fue en 2007.
And then moving forward, the more recent data that we have of both systems, we're looking at, for the Cal States, we moved up to 7th. We're transferring about 1,204 students. And for the UC system, transferred 323. And for the 2007 year, we were ranked 13. So again, this shows
But how long does it take for students to get out of the community college, and what's the retention rate?
That is a really good question that I don't have off the top of my head. Really good question. I would probably have to defer that question to our researchers, but that's a really good question. So this just shows an investment in time over the course of 10 years and how the increase has really impacted more students. Is there more room for growth? Yes. There is way more room for growth. But again, I wanted to reflect again that we're 7th out of 114 colleges for the Cal States, and then 13th in the state out of 114 community colleges.
Okay, en 2017 somos número 7 de los 114 colegios comunitarios a transferir a Cal State University, el sistema de CSU, y número 13 a Universidad de California, UC.
And I know the numbers were a little chopped in terms of how it's projected, but you could just see the overall growth in the span of 10 years. Again, our community deserves investment. It deserves everything we do and more. So I'm grateful for the people that are here present, and we hope to continue serving our population as we should, in a proactive manner, and making sure that our transfer numbers exceed that. I know the President's vision is to try to be #1 across the board, but we cannot do that without the help of the community, admin, staff, faculty, counselors, everything.
Ok, esta es una combinación entre el CSU y el USC. El USC, el CSU está en azul, color azul, y el UC está en color negro. Y esta es una colaboración entre la facultad y los miembros que trabajan aquí, que es el staff.
Y lo que esto significa son 10 años de los números de alumnos que han pasado a la universidad, transferido de East LA College a estos sistemas públicos. Podemos ver ahora que somos número 9 en combinación en el estado de California. Y esta comunidad merece este tipo de éxito. Gracias.
And no, we have a question. I'll probably ask for the question to be saved towards the end. Mary, you wanted to make it?
Yes, me. Well, we don't have you establish this transfer culture here at ELAC. We know all about the work that you have done to move these numbers in the right direction. And we have heard some promises about the transfer will increase, so we would hope these numbers keep going in the right direction. But does anybody have projections in terms of, because I'm not aware of the policies around impaction at our feeder school in Cal State Los Angeles may change or affect these numbers, because we're looking at numbers and we do on the real every day with our students and their choices. So do we have any information as to how the impaction will support this growth, continued growth, or how it might reverse some of this forward movement? And I don't know if we still have we had enough time to really study this? Or do we need time, as our colleagues at Cal State are asking for, at least 1 year delay?
Yep.
And that is a concern here today, because I know as faculty who are doing the work here, this is all very new, and I know that there are, and I definitely, President Corbino and his staff, I understand the numbers are real. I understand it's stemming from real numbers from California and funding, that's real. But I think sometimes we move too quickly when it comes to policies, and we don't, sometimes we bemoan the impact that it has on working class students and the California master plans. So I just want to say that I know everybody here is here for the right reasons, administration, faculty, students, but I just want to know from our end, I don't want to see these numbers reverse. And if that means that we support a 1 year moratorium to do more homework on this, then that's what I'm asking. Do you feel we here on campus have had enough time to really study the agreements that are emerging?
So I think,
Actually, we all know that we're incredibly committed and passionate about creating these access opportunities for our students here at East LA College. We're sure of that. I know that there's a part of the program where there will be some Q&A.
That should be now. We should do that right now. Because you didn't notify the community when you made this decision to declare impaction.
Well, and some of us need to understand all of the pieces because...
But all of this is online already. We can go online and look at this online. You need to listen to the community.
How many slides do you have left?
I just really have.
Oh, one more. There you go.
this, and then that's it. So.
All right.
But I would say I want to truly defer to our guests on campus. I realize this is a pressing issue on all ends. So, but I really want to defer the questions to a later point, just for the sake of time as well. But again, I do want to just emphasize: could we do better? Yeah, we can. So, yes, we could do better. That's without a doubt. If any of you, for the students here, have visited the transfer center, you know that we are pushing transfer as much as we can, and we're also pushing as many options as much as we can. But is there a sentiment that we can do better? That's always the case, and I think that's what drives us on campus. So, I do want to pass this along to Dr. Mahoney, and going forward for the rest of the presentation.
Can you please slow down so the translation can happen? Because we have parents that are here that are part of the community.
We do want to get to Q&A. We're not going to use all the slides that some of you have seen before. We're going to hit a few of the highlights for folks here who either have seen them but have questions, because I know, for example, one of the faculty members I spoke to at ELAC, I know he studied these, but he's got questions. So we're going to go through it. We'll drop some of the detail we've done before, and we will get to the Q&A. So,
la señora es nuestra vicepresidenta de la Universidad de Castellane. Ella no va a pasar todas las presentaciones que están acostumbradas, va a tratar de ir pasando lo más importante. Y les agradeceremos, por favor, se esperan a que terminemos de la presentación para contestarles todas las preguntas, así pueden darle permiso a ella de terminar con su presentación.
So you're going to hear some information. Yes, we are facing a context in which we do need to modify our impaction roles.
Estamos mirando una etapa ahorita que sí necesitamos cambiar la manera en que vamos a proceder.
But I want to just really assure everyone, and I appreciate the comments that you made about we're all, we may disagree, but everyone in this room is here because they're committed to students and to education in East Los Angeles.
Not everyone.
Les agradecemos a todos los comentarios que nos han hecho, pero todos estamos aquí por un propósito, que es el propósito de la educación de nuestros estudiantes.
At LA, we remain committed to degree attainment as a source of upward mobility.
En Los Ángeles seguimos comprometidos para seguir luchando a nuestros estudiantes a un nivel más avanzado.
We're committed to increasing the number of degrees awarded in LA.
Estamos comprometidos a subir, a incrementar el número de carreras o de bachilleratos recibidos en Los Ángeles.
We're committed to providing access to freshmen and transfers, and I've underlined "and" because we need to provide access to both.
Estamos comprometidos a proveer acceso a nuestros estudiantes que se están transfiriendo de la high school a la universidad y a los que se están transfiriendo del colegio comunitario a la universidad. He subrayado la palabra "and" porque es importante que les proveamos acceso a los dos.
And finally, as Kirby suggested for ELAC, we're very proud of our increases in graduation rates, but we can do better. And by doing better, we can provide more access for students.
El proveer acceso y obtener, seguir con metas ambiciosas para incrementar el número de estudiantes que estamos graduando es muy importante.
We've been very successful in the last few years at providing both access and attainment.
Hemos tenido muy buen éxito al proveer las dos cosas, al incrementar el acceso y al tener con los resultados.
We've increased since 2012 our student headcount by 27%, and we're now serving almost 28,000 students.
Desde el 2212 hemos incrementado el número de estudiantes por un 27% y ahora estamos sirviendo a más de 28,000 estudiantes.
And we've also increased both our graduation rate for freshmen and our graduation rates for transfers.
También hemos incrementado la graduación de los freshmen, que son los de la high school, y los de transfers.
But we are facing a funding challenge. While our enrollment has increased by more than 25%, our funding for students has increased only, for new students has increased only 2.4%.
A pesar de que hemos crecido mucho, el dinero que nos está llegando no ha subido demasiado, solamente un 2.4%.
This has resulted in more than 5,000 students on campus for whom we do not get state funding.
Lo cual está resultando que hay aproximadamente 5.400 estudiantes más, de los cuales no estamos recibiendo ningún tipo de dinero para esos estudiantes.
If we had that funding, we would have approximately $32 million more dollars annually that would enable us to hire the faculty, the students, and faculty and the staff to provide the services that students need, the kind of services that Kirby described.
De ser así, si tuviéramos ese dinero, pudiéramos contar con más de $30 millones más para dinero para poder ayudar más a estos estudiantes.
We are currently impacted. We are an impacted CSU.
Ahorita estamos impactados, somos una universidad que está impactada.
And we're impacted in two ways. For freshmen, we have to admit all of our local CSU eligible freshmen.
Estamos afectadas en dos maneras. Tenemos que admitir a nuestros estudiantes locales, aunque somos freshmen, que son los graduados de la high school.
And then we admit our non-local freshmen on a space available basis, and we have virtually eliminated them. Last year we denied 11,000 non-local freshmen.
Tenemos que ofrecer acceso a los dos, a los estudiantes que son local y a los estudiantes que son no local. El año pasado tuvimos que negar a más de 11,000 estudiantes que no estaban cerca de la región de Castera Lake, que son considerados no locales.
The same is true for transfers. We admit local students get a preference, and then non-locals.
Lo mismo aplica para los que se están transfiriendo. Admitimos estudiantes locales y no locales.
But at the transfer level, we have another lever, and we have the majors that are listed here. Students are required to complete major-specific criteria to get admitted.
Para los transfers funciona un poco diferente. Eso va basado dependiendo a la carrera que ellos están queriendo seleccionar. Enfrente tienen una lista de las diferentes carreras que son las que están impactadas, y ellos tendrían que ser admitidos basado a la criteria o el requisito que tiene cada carrera a la cual el estudiante va a ingresar.
We worked very hard 2 years ago with some of the folks in this room to make sure that the criteria for local transfer students in those majors are fair and accessible.
Hemos trabajado muy duro con muchas personas que están en este salón para asegurarnos que los requisitos sean justos y que le beneficien al estudiante.
This slide tells the story, and the slides after this are details that I will largely skip, but I want to address this slide.
Esta imagen que están mirando enfrente va a hablar sobre la historia de lo que está pasando, y ahorita va a elaborar ella un poco más en las siguientes fotografías que va a poner enfrente.
The top slide shows what will happen to our freshmen and transfer new students if we continue with our current admissions plan.
La imagen de arriba refleja lo que pasaría con los estudiantes si seguimos con el plan que tenemos ahorita.
The top line are our freshmen, and you will see starting in fall 17, we had a tremendous increase in the number of local freshmen, and that number has continued to climb.
Como pueden ver, en la línea que está más arriba representa los freshmen, y va representando desde el otoño 2017 y cómo va subiendo a literal.
And you'll see, to make room for those freshmen, what we've had to do is reduce our new transfer flat number. So you'll see that number, the pink line, the bottom line, has steadily decreased, and it has decreased even more significantly lately.
La línea de abajo enseña cómo si seguimos con eso, los números van rebajando. Entonces la línea que va por abajo de la negra que se mira arriba, la de abajo está un poco color marrón, va indicándole cómo los estudiantes va habiendo los transfers, está haciendo un decline porque no hay acceso para ellos.
Bottom slide shows what we're trying to attempt with this new proposal.
La imagen de abajo les refleja lo que estamos tratando de hacer para que esto no suceda con los transfers y haya acceso para los dos. El de arriba representa los freshmen, el de abajo los transfers. Si se fijan en el plan que están proponiendo es para nivelar que no haya efecto con los transfers, que no les afecte esto a los transfers.
So what you'll see there is we're trying to accomplish two things. We do need to reduce our enrollment a little bit for fall 20, and we're trying to achieve a better balance between freshmen and transfer students.
La universidad está tratando de reducir la capacidad de estudiantes recién graduados de high school y subir la capacidad para los freshmen, como los transfers.
And so what you'll see under this plan, we will reduce the freshmen, the fall 20 freshman class by about 600, and that allows us to keep access for transfers level.
Si se da cuenta, eso nos seguirá permitiendo darle acceso a la universidad a nuestros transfers.
The next slides just show the details behind this, and they are on our website, so I'm not going to dwell on these to leave time for questions and answers. The only thing that's really notable here is that top two bars. The second bar, the blue bar, is what we're funded for. Those are the students we receive state funding for.
Esta imagen no voy a elaborar mucho porque toda esta información está en nuestra página del internet, pero nomás quiero que se den una idea. La línea azul o color debajo es nomás para la cantidad de estudiantes que estamos recibiendo ayuda del Estado.
The top line, the top line is our actual students. And what you just see there is that 5,000 student gap. The green line are our actual students.
La línea de arriba, la verde, es la cantidad de estudiantes que tenemos. La línea de abajo es la cantidad de estudiantes de la cual estamos recibiendo funding. Como se mira entre medio, estamos hablando de 5,000 estudiantes de los cuales no recibimos ayuda.
And again, these are just the details. Our applications are way up for undergraduates, and we've seen this surge in local enrollments. That's what's changed all this. And largely it's because there are just many, many more students, and this is good news, in Los Angeles who are CSU eligible.
Como se pueden dar cuenta, nuestros números de aplicaciones están subiendo cada año y es eso lo que nos está llevando a que haya una diferencia entre lo que hemos recibido financiamiento y lo que no, ayuda.
I just want to stress that this growth was not a decision. This growth is because of enormous improvements in K through 12, specifically high schools, in our local areas.
So más quiero enfatizar que este crecimiento es algo que refleja lo que están haciendo las high schools ahorita y es que están graduando más estudiantes ahorita las high schools.
This is our local area for people who are not familiar with it.
Este es un mapa de la área que es considerado local para los que no estén familiarizados. Este es lo que Castrale necesita que proveer servicios.
So when we talk about eliminating non-local freshmen, we're talking about folks who don't live that far from here.
Cuando estamos hablando de eliminar estudiantes que no son locales, estamos hablando de estudiantes muy cercas aquí.
And again, these are just more of those details that are on our website that just show that the growth in freshmen, the top line, has resulted in a decrease in transfers.
Una vez más, estas imágenes solamente representan el crecimiento que hemos tenido y esta última refleja la cantidad que se ha reducido de los transfers.
This poses challenges for us on campus.
Esto es un reto para nuestra universidad.
In particular, it doesn't give us the funds to hire the faculty, the staff, and provide the services that growing numbers of students need.
Ahorita este plan no nos da el dinero que necesitamos para emplear facultad, para emplear miembros de empleados, nuevos empleados, para poder servir a nuestros estudiantes.
So, and this is the one thing I know everyone in the room can agree on, we need to advocate for more funding for the California State University system, and we need to advocate for CSUs like Los Angeles and Dominguez Hills.
Creo que en alguna cosa que podemos estar todos de acuerdo en este cuarto o en este salón es que necesitamos más recursos para la universidad estatal y queremos para la Universidad de Los Ángeles y Domínguez.
But while we're doing that, we have to control our enrollment, and so that's the proposal we're sharing with you today.
Para hacer esto necesitamos controlar el número de estudiantes que son admitidos a la universidad para poder lograr esto.
And in particular, we need to continue the strong partnerships we have with LAUSD and with our community college partners.
Para lograr esto necesitamos la ayuda de nuestras escuelas locales, nuestros colegios comunitarios.
This slide was my demonstration of the successes at ELAC and PCC, our two largest feeders.
Esta imagen refleja el éxito que hemos tenido con nuestras escuelas que nos dan más estudiantes, les llaman los feeders, que es ELAC y PCC.
And it's really remarkable. I congratulated the president earlier.
Y es muy bueno, felicité al presidente hace unos momentos.
So while we advocate for state funding, we do need to manage our enrollment. So this is our proposal. Beginning fall 2020, all undergraduate programs, including pre-majors and undeclared, will be impacted, allowing for the creation of major-specific criteria for freshmen and transfers.
Como decíamos un momento, para poder hacer cambios necesitamos un nuevo plan y aquí les presento el plan que tenemos para poder empezar en el otoño del 2020. Necesitamos incluir que todas las carreras tengan lo que se llama pre-major, que es completar algunas clases que sean requeridas por la carrera antes de ser transferibles, que se transfieran ellos a la universidad.
I really want to stress this next point. We are doing more than just giving our local students a preference. We are still giving you a guarantee.
Queremos hacer algo más que dar la preferencia a los estudiantes locales. Queremos mantener esa garantía.
It's a long sentence. Many CSUs who are impacted give their local students a bit of a GPA bump to be a little more competitive.
Queremos dar a los estudiantes, cuando ya hacen ese pre-major, se les da como una ayudadita en las calificaciones, es el GPA.
We're not going to do that. For those of you who are already looking to transfer to Cal State LA in one of those majors, you've seen we give you the courses and the GPA you need to earn.
Para ustedes ya se podrán dar cuenta que para ustedes están listos para transferirse, ya lo estamos haciendo, les damos las clases y el promedio del GPA que tienen que tener.
Okay, we're going to give you just a few small details. We're going to try to go through this quickly and then we'll get to Q&A.
Les vamos a dar un poquito más de detalles y luego continuaremos con cualquier pregunta que tengan.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
I'm only going to say a few statements about freshmen because I know many of you are here interested about the effect on transfer students as already asked.
Solo diré algunas cosas sobre los freshmen porque sé que todos ustedes están interesados más en saber sobre los transfers.
For freshmen, we will articulate clear criteria based on high school achievement for admission.
Para los transfers iremos más en detalle. para freshmen y demos más en detalle sobre el GPA y lo que tienen que tener para transferirse.
Criteria will be published this June, which would apply to students applying next October and November for Fall 20.
Los requisitos estarán publicados este junio para que sepan cuáles serán los requisitos para el año entrante.
We want to be clear that students from those 281 local high schools
Queremos estar seguros que todos los estudiantes de las 262 escuelas
will be guaranteed admission if they meet those published criteria.
se les garantizará admisión a la universidad si cumplen con los requisitos establecidos.
Non-local students will still have very, very limited access to Cal State LA.
Los estudiantes que están fuera del área local seguirán teniendo admisión limitada a la Universidad de Los Ángeles.
For our transfer students,
Para nuestros transfers,
we will continue the clear criteria that you are used to seeing for many of our majors.
seguiremos teniendo los requisitos seguirán siendo claros como ustedes los han mirado basado a la carrera.
For those that don't already have these criteria,
Para esos que todavía no tienen esos requisitos,
we will publish by June 1st
los publicaremos para el junio 1
the GPA and lower division courses needed to be guaranteed admission as a local student.
el promedio de sus calificaciones, conocido como el GPA, y las clases que tendrán que tomar.
We will ensure that the courses we require are taught at our local community colleges.
Nos aseguremos que las clases que sean requeridas para la carrera sean enseñadas en las escuelas de la cual viene el estudiante.
Students from ELAC, PCC, our top feeders, will continue to be guaranteed admission.
Los estudiantes del Colegio Comunitario del Este de Los Ángeles y en los de Pasadena seguirán teniendo prioridad a ser admitidos a la Universidad de Casteralé.
And students from other community colleges will be offered admission on a space available basis.
Los otros miembros de los otros colegios comunitarios se les proveerá admisión basada a la disponibilidad.
To ensure that we have room for those local students meeting the minimum requirements,
para asegurarnos que estos estudiantes tengan los requisitos mínimos,
we will be doing a slight refinement to the community colleges that receive this huge advantage.
Se hará un recorte al mapa ahí como lo pueden mirar enfrente para ver cómo se hará un cambio para saber cuáles son los locales.
The details of this is on the website.
Los detalles de esto están en la página del internet.
All of the community colleges in this East LA area will continue to receive the status.
Todos los colegios aquí alrededor del este de Los Ángeles tendrán acceso.
And then just finally, this demonstrates what our plan will do to our freshman class.
También esto significa lo que un reflejo de lo que va a ser nuestra clase de los freshmen.
This is also on our website, so you can look at the numbers closely there.
Esto también está en la página del internet para si gusta tomar o revisarlo con más calma.
But it preserves Cal State LA's access to the same freshman demographics.
Pero seguirán proveyendo acceso a los mismos estudiantes de la high school.
This is driven largely by funding and our ability to provide the best services to our students.
Esto fue basado a que queremos proveer los mejores servicios para nuestros estudiantes.
We will only use it as dictated by funding. So the more funding we get, the more students we will continue to admit.
Todo esto está dictado basando a la cantidad de dinero que se reciba o de funding que es lo que le dan a la universidad. Eso dictará qué tipos de servicios y programas podamos ofrecer para los estudiantes.
So we are going to move to questions and comments.
Nos vamos a mover a preguntas y comentarios.
Some reminders, our admissions proposal can be found on our homepage on the right-hand side.
Un recordatorio, el plan de admisión lo encontrarán en la página.
And there's a form for public comments.
Y hay una forma para comentarios públicos, que es lo que está subrayado en verde.
Those will be collected and published on the website.
Esos serán colectados y serán publicados en la página del internet.
We will publish those the week after next. After March 1st, and they'll be on the website until June 1st.
Después de marzo 1 estarán publicados en la página. ¿Tendremos alguna respuesta después de eso? Acerca de su decisión.
I have to go back and look at the timeline, but the decision should be made about March 1st. Yeah. So we're going to open this now so that everyone has an opportunity to make comments and ask questions. To allow time for everyone to speak, we're asking that speakers approach the podium and that they limit their speaking time to 3 minutes. There are a lot of folks here who want to ask questions, so hopefully we can hear from a lot of you.
Yeah, in 40 minutes. Thank you.
Ahorita para preguntas, se les recuerda que cada persona tiene un límite de 3 minutos por pregunta o comentario.
You can get in line in front of the podium. Should we have a third mic somewhere? Oh, there, yeah. The translator.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hola a todos.
I want to introduce myself. My name is Alejandro, and I am the College and Career Senior Coordinator for Promesa Boa Heights. We're a nonprofit community organization in the East Side that works with students from different high schools, namely Roosevelt High School, Mendes High School, and also Hollenbeck Middle School. We have some community members here as well from Promesa Boa Heights. So,
You want me to do it?
Go ahead. Me llamo Alejandro Araujo, yo soy de una organización representada aquí con miembros de la comunidad que se llama Promesa Boa Heights. Yo soy coordinador de colegios y universidades y carreras y trabajo en la escuela Roosevelt, Mendes y Hollenbeck Middle School. What I want to mention is, first of all, that there's a big issue here about transparency overall. That's the elephant in the room. There's a big issue of community input. Myself, working with the schools, I just found out about this plan a few weeks ago.
Yep.
When I surveyed our counselors that work with the students, they didn't know about this plan. The principals, assistant principals, didn't know about this plan. Aquí no hay transparencia con este plan. Yo apenas me enteré de este plan hace como 2 semanas. Cuando les hice preguntas a los consejeros quienes trabajan con los estudiantes, ellos no sabían de este plan, ni los directores de las escuelas. I work one-on-one with students that are applying to your school, that are applying here to ELAC. Let me retract that, not your school, to the community school, that are applying here to ELAC. And Impaction has been going on. You're trying to make it official. Este problema ya ha consistido en muchos años, ahora ellos nomás están tratando de hacerlo oficial. This number that you're claiming is 600 students that will be affected. It's not just 600 students as it was mentioned yesterday, it's 600 generations. It's a ripple effect. We know that thousands more apply and thousands get denied and thousands get their application rescinded and canceled due to a very stringent, very rigid application process, enrollment process, and summer melt is a very real issue. Sabemos que miles más que apliquen tienen las aplicaciones son canceladas, los jóvenes no llegan a su primer día a la escuela de Cal State LA. So, with all of this, I just want to mention that there's a big issue here in trying to really sort of fast-pace this whole issue. It is very belligerent, not having community input, very belligerent, not having student input, parent input. What are we supposed to tell our students? How are we supposed to prepare them for this? And in a country that's very politically divided right now, there's no more taking a neutral side. You're either on one side of the fence or the other. Right?
Yep.
If you go through with this proposal after hearing everybody's dissent last night and here today, it speaks very loudly to where you stand and whether you stand with the community or you stand against us. Right? Ya no hay que ser neutral en estos tiempos divididos políticamente. Si ellos deciden proponer esta nueva iniciativa, va a quedar en claro en qué lado están los administradores. And I'll leave with this, because I really do want to mention this. As somebody that grew up in East LA, as somebody who has been racially profiled my whole life, it is very triggering that you would have deputies of East LA understanding that it's supposed to be dialogue.
Exactly.
Arrancado por las policías de sheriffs en el este de Los Ángeles muchos años. Yo nomás digo que es un problema que tenemos aquí a la policía. Con esto debe ser un diálogo entre la comunidad y los colegios y los administradores. No son las cosas.
Yep.
Another forum took place about Impaction at Cal State LA last night. You made reference to it.
Otro junta de estas tuvo lugar en la Universidad de Los Ángeles.
Students, faculty, and community members insisted that administrators hear their stories and their reasonable demands for a moratorium on this discussion.
Los administradores exigían que se escucharan a los padres en un foro de estos.
Many of their stories are my story.
Muchas de esas historias es mi historia.
I grew up in Boyle Heights.
Yo crecí en el este de Los Ángeles, en Boyle Heights.
The daughter of Mexican immigrants.
La hija de padres mexicanos.
When I was 11, my dad suffered a horrible accident on the job in Vernon, and my family struggled to get by on welfare.
Cuando mi padre tuvo un accidente en el trabajo y mi familia tuvo que sobrevivir con el welfare.
In the past, I've known some of the poverty, insecurity, anxiety, and depression that a lot of those students were describing.
En mi pasado, yo viví la pobreza, las cosas que muchos estudiantes estuvieron describiendo.
In many ways, they are me.
En muchas maneras, soy yo.
And I stand before you now, a faculty member here at East LA College, the first in my family to earn university degrees, because of the love and sacrifice of so many, and because of the doors they opened before me.
Y me paro aquí enfrente de todos ustedes como la primera en graduarme y estar aquí, que pasó cualquier obstáculo y está aquí ahorita enfrente de ustedes.
I know from my own experience that it's crucial to open doors to vulnerable communities and to keep them open.
Sé que abrir las puertas a la vulnerabilidad es muy difícil.
We're supposed to be here to advocate for our students and to help them achieve their goals, not to shut them out.
Estamos aquí para abocar por los estudiantes, para que lleguen a sus sueños, no para cerrarles la puerta.
It's completely reasonable to extend the discussion about these issues and to explore the possibilities, not to shut the door on hundreds of students and their families who reasonably expected them to attend college.
Es completamente irrazonable de extender la discusión sobre los problemas y explorar las posibilidades en vez de estar cerrándole las puertas a los estudiantes.
The promise of the master plan must be fulfilled, not further eroded, especially in today's climate of anti-immigration and growing class inequalities.
Yes.
Este plan tiene que ser, este plan que están presentando hoy no es el correcto ahorita, especialmente en este tiempo que estamos pasando sobre la inmigración y inequalidad.
The master plan is like the promissory note invoked by Martin Luther King back in 1963.
El plan que están presentando es como la promesa que hizo el doctor Martin Luther King, de la promesa.
And I'm quoting here, we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt.
Nos rehusamos a creer que el Banco de la Justicia está en bancarrota.
We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity in this nation.
Nos negamos a creer que no hay fondos dentro de la administración.
So we have come to cash this check.
So hemos venido a cambiar este cheque.
A check that will give us, upon demand, the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
Hemos venido a cambiar un cheque, a demandar riqueza de libertad y de seguridad y justicia.
In such a rich state, in such a rich nation, it's criminal to betray the promises to some of our most economically vulnerable students.
En este país tan rico y esta nación tan rica, es un crimen o arbitrariedad creer que no hay ayuda para los estudiantes.
Don't shut the door.
No cierren las puertas.
They will kick it down.
Ellos la van a tumbar.
I will help them.
Yo les voy a ayudar.
To administrators, open a dialogue to your faculty, students, and community as they demand it.
Administradores, abran un diálogo con sus maestros, su facultad, sus miembros de la universidad.
Involve the voices of community members who will be most affected.
Envuelvan las voces de sus miembros de la comunidad.
Treat them with transparency and respect.
Trátenlos con respeto y transparencia.
Be open to examine other alternatives that you did not allow yourself the time to explore.
Permítales tener esa transparencia.
History will not absolve you.
La historia no los absolverá.
Be on the right side of this history.
Estén en el lugar correcto para esta historia.
Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Marcel Morales. I'm the Chair of Social Sciences. Welcome, Cal State LA administrators. Thank you for coming and thank you for letting us know about this proposal. You know, at the end of the day, it's important to realize that Cal State LA and East LA College we're neighbors, right? But this plan does not feel neighborly.
No.
It does not feel neighborly at all.
Gracias por permitirnos estar aquí en este programa. Al final del día somos como vecinos, pero este plan nos suena como que si fuéramos vecinos.
This plan will build a wall, whether real or metaphorical.
Este plan construirá una pared, ya sea verdadero o como artificial.
I'm very sensitive to walls these days.
Muy sensible a los muros ahorita en día.
And what we know through basic social science research is Impaction will directly impact three major communities: African Americans, Latinos, and those who are socioeconomic status.
Tres grupos de raza: los latinos, los afroamericanos, y las personas de bajos recursos.
I also have another concern about the gerrymandered local area that Cal State LA has come up with.
También tengo una pregunta sobre el mapa que promocionó Cal State LA, donde van a hacer cambios a lo que es la ciudad local.
LA community, this new local area will
It's not new. It's been in place for years.
Actually, we're going to disclose 4 LA community colleges with the name LA in them. So it is new. will be excluding LA Pierce, LA Valley, LA Mission, and LA Harbor, our sister colleges, which is quite egregious, considering that Cal State LA is going to exclude 4 colleges with the name LA in them.